On Entertainment Tonight.
This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Ratho reporting. Good evening. CBS News has been told that investigators have made new progress towards solving the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. Some of the trail apparently leads through Syria to Iran. U.S. officials say they've zeroed in on the group and even the family responsible for the bomb that killed 270 people last December, and they have new evidence about the motive for the mass murder in the sky. Some key pieces of the puzzle are still missing, but David Martin in Washington has completed an investigation and has this exclusive report.
Investigators have identified a suspect they believe planted the bomb which blew up Pan Am 103. He is a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine General Command, and he is a relative of this man, Hafez Dalkamoni, who is said to have set up the network which carried out the attack. Dalkamoni already was in prison at the time of the bombing, picked up last October following a raid on one of his safe houses. Along with weapons, German police found 3 Toshiba radio cassette players similar to the one used to blow up Pan Am 103. With Dalkamoni in prison, investigators are now searching for his relative, who they suspect gave a Samsonite suitcase containing the booby-trap cassette player to one of the passengers aboard Pan Am 103. Sources refuse to disclose the suspect's name or whereabouts. Investigators believe the passenger who unwittingly carried the bomb was Khalid Jafar, a young Lebanese-American college student who lived in Michigan and was returning home from Frankfurt for the Christmas holidays. FBI agents have questioned Jafar's parents at the family-run gas station in Detroit. The parents insist he was not involved.
I'm sure, like 100%, that my son is never near anything of those elements.
Many of the leads in this case are coming from a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine General Command who is cooperating with investigators. The Popular Front has its headquarters in Syria, but the investigation has uncovered evidence linking the Pan Am bombing not to Syria but to Iran. Late last year, members of the Popular Front met with representatives of Iran's Revolutionary Guards. The subject, retaliation for the downing of an Iranian airliner by the American cruiser Vincennes. U.S. officials are increasingly confident they will solve the case, although they admit it may not be possible to actually arrest and convict the terrorists. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
The small town of Lockerbie is center of perhaps the largest murder investigation in the world. In an old schoolroom, detectives try to follow the trail of the murderers. Every clue is entered into these computers and shared with London, Washington, and Frankfurt. Lockerbie itself is fast on the road to recovery. The field where the cockpit fell has recently been reclaimed by a flock of sheep. The 50-foot crater carved out by the fallen fuselage has been filled in and a new road already paved. In the middle of these dirt lots, where 3 months ago houses just disappeared, fresh flowers are still left regularly by families. We miss you and love you. The card is signed Mom and Dad. On this street called Sherwood Crescent, Lockerbie scars have yet to fade. In the town papers and community newsletters, they debate how to spend the relief money. There's no shortage of it. The Lockerbie Disaster Relief Fund has raised almost $4 million. In a warehouse on the outskirts of town, volunteers have begun cleaning the belongings of the passengers and crew so they can finally be sent home to relatives.
It makes us feel a little better if we can do something to help somebody.
The clothing found scattered over more than 800 square miles is being washed and ironed, pieces of jewelry polished, and every page of a bruised and tattered Bible separated and pressed. Stella Hughes won't think of the tragedy as she works.
I try to think of it just as a family wash and get on with it as best I can.
Tourists used to whiz past the exit sign. Now they pull off the highway. To most, Lockerbie means terrorism and air tragedy. But to its townspeople, Lockerbie was always just a nice, quiet place where nothing much happened. Slowly, they are making it that again. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Lockerbie, Scotland.
At the Oliver North criminal trial today, prosecutor John Kecker used North's own testimony to further question North's constant portrayal of himself as a truth-teller who never took a dishonest dollar and was just following orders. CBS News law correspondent Rita Braver reports Kecker picked up on North's admission that he once delayed following orders for a year.
Oliver North today insisted that he altered documents on orders of President Reagan passed along by National Security Council Chief Robert McFarlane. North said this was an effort to hide President Reagan and McFarlane's awareness of Contra support activities they had authorized North to carry out. The former Marine, who has always maintained that he followed all orders of his superiors, testified that he hadn't really wanted to change the documents and had delayed doing it. Prosecutor John Kecker reacted like a cat who had caught his mouse. You had an order not only from the head of the NSC, but from the President of the United States, and you ignored it for more than a year? I want to know why. North, I just didn't get it done. And North revealed for the first time today that he was present when Admiral John Poindexter destroyed a presidential finding that approved arms for hostage trades in 1985. On Capitol Hill 2 years ago, Poindexter admitted tearing the document in two.
I thought it was a significant political embarrassment to the president, and I wanted to protect him.
But this was the first time North had admitted watching the destruction. Kecker asked, as you watched Admiral Poindexter, do you remember thinking, as that happened, I'm in a den of thieves? No, North responded. I honestly believed that I was working for honorable men who were trying to protect this country. But Kecker instead tried to show an administration concerned only about its image, concocting a political cover story, making cover your politics decisions. And for the first time today, Kecker indicated that he believes North may have destroyed incriminating documents smuggled out of the White House by his former secretary, Fawn Hall. North categorically denied it. Rita Braver, CBS News at the federal courthouse in Washington.
First Lady Barbara Bush is back at the White House after a 2-hour hospital stay, treatment with radioactive iodine, trying to correct an overactive thyroid gland condition called Graves' disease. CBS News medical correspondent Susan Spencer has the latest on the First Lady's health.
Mrs. Bush traveled this morning to Walter Reed for a treatment experts agree is both painless and virtually surefire against the effects of Graves' disease.
The thyroid gland becomes hypertrophied and enlarged, produces too much thyroid hormone.
That can turn up the body's metabolism. For the First Lady, it meant an 18-pound weight loss and itchy, irritated eyes. Nearly 250,000 people in this country have Graves. With most, drug treatment is only temporary, followed by surgery to remove the thyroid or, as in Mrs. Bush's case, by irradiation.
It's a very simple, easy form of therapy with minimal side effects that in most circumstances is far better than surgery.
The patient drinks a sort of atomic cocktail, a radioactive iodine solution. The iodine collects in the thyroid and within a few months destroys all or part of it. Mrs. Bush probably will have to take synthetic thyroid hormones once that happens, but she seemed quite unperturbed about any of this today.
I feel well.
The only precaution offered by doctors, don't play with the new puppies, since for a few days, the First Lady is slightly radioactive.
Specialists say that overcoming people's fears about radioactivity is one of the biggest problems they have in treating Graves. They hope a non-eventful recovery by the First Lady will help overcome that. Susan Spencer, CBS News, Washington.
1988 federal income tax returns for President and Mrs. Bush were made public today. The Bushes say they are due an almost $33,000 refund for what are said to have been tax overpayments on income of more than $287,000. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, reporter Ron Allen on the search for more victims of the Matamoros drug and voodoo killers. And Harold Dow on the death of Ray Robinson, such a sweet boxer they called him Sugar.
I think my grandfather would be pretty amazed at how much my Oldsmobile touring sedan has in common with his vision of transportation. They both have onboard computers and an anti-lock braking system. It's first class aboard the touring sedan, and that fuel-injected 3800 engine gives you the kind of thrust you need. Especially when you got a plane to catch.
This is the new generation.
Now choose low 2.9% GMAC financing or cash back on any new Oldsmobile.
The pain is in the back of the head, and then, like I say, in the temples, and it'll pound. Being a fireman is stressful, so I'd say stress could bring that on real easily.
Jim Dayan is trying extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. For pain like his, nothing, not aspirin, not ibuprofen, works better.
I feel great. I feel back to normal, ready to go. It's gone.
New extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. In the real world of everyday pain, nothing works better.
Just this much Cortaid heals more kinds of itches and rashes than all of these. Because Cortaid has a clinically proven healing medicine they don't have. That's why Cortaid is the Itch Aid.
You're looking at a list of foods that have more fiber per serving than prunes. Prunes, the high-fiber fruit.
Another document submitted at the Oliver North criminal trial in Washington indicates George Bush's possible involvement in funneling secret U.S. aid to Nicaraguan rebels through a third country. Again today, Mr. Bush declined to discuss this apparent contradiction to his long-held public insistence that he was not involved in any such activity as vice president. CBS News White House correspondent Leslie Stahl reports the subject came up as President Bush was trying to call attention to new proposals on ethics in government.
Mr. Bush's ethics package calls for ending all campaign contributions by PACs, political action committees. But the president did not, as his own ethics commission recommended, call for banning honoraria for Congress.
And I will not make a formal proposal on Congress until after I consult with the leaders of Congress on the issue of congressional pay. There is no point, absolutely no point, in putting Congress through another traumatic bashing like the one just completed.
The president was accused of caving in to congressional pressure on honoraria, speaking fees of up to $2,000 from special interest groups, which often have legislation before the Congress.
The honoraria system is a national scandal. The American people know it. Members of Congress know it.
While not proposing a pay increase for Congress now, Mr. Bush did ask for a 25% salary boost for federal judges. He called for reform of campaign finance laws, simplification of financial disclosure forms, and said Congress should meet the same ethics requirements as the executive branch.
And therefore I am proposing that we must extend the independent counsel statute to cover the Congress.
Mr. Bush's own ethical standing has been an issue in the Iran-Contra scandal. He again dodged questions about revelations at the Oliver North trial, which contradict his claims that he was not directly involved in aiding the Contras.
I don't like reading charges that I happen to feel are untrue, but I have to stand on that.
Today's plea for ethics in government could be read as a criticism of the Reagan administration. There's a lot of sensitivity here that much of what President Bush is doing is seen as a rejection of the values of the previous resident. Leslie Stahl, CBS News, the White House.
House Speaker Jim Wright stepped up his Fight Back campaign today against what he sees as partisan Republican political attacks, accusations about his ethics. CBS News national correspondent Phil Jones, who first broke the story of the House Ethics Committee being urged to cite Speaker Wright for dozens of alleged violations, now has a follow-up.
The embattled speaker, fighting for his political life, today defended his outside business association with a friend, Wright claiming he has not violated any rules. But in the next breath, he qualified his statement by saying he has not knowingly or intentionally violated any rules. Wright's most serious problem is the House Ethics Committee vote to charge the Speaker with receiving gifts from Texas businessman George Malik. The Wrights had business dealings with Malik at the time they were provided use of a car and a cut-rate condo. The question is whether Malik was just a friend or whether with his interest in oil, real estate, and savings and loans, Malik was trying to use Wright and influence legislation. Wright today cited an Ethics Committee advisory to members that states if the member does not believe that the donor of the gift has a distinct or special interest in the congressional legislative process, the member should feel free to accept such gifts. Fallout from the investigation is affecting Wright's leadership. It has been a week since he held the traditional daily speakers meetings with reporters, and he moves quickly from cameras when Ethics Committee questions are asked.
If you're going to interview me about the March of Dimes, I'm here for that.
The constant barrage against Wright has his longtime political allies worrying about whether the Speaker can survive.
This is going to be a battle royal, regardless of how it comes out now. There's no way that the Speaker can be exonerated. Clearly. I'm not a bettor, but I'm a rooter, and I worry about my guy whether he can win or not.
Some Democrat House colleagues say privately that if the Ethics Committee cites Wright for dozens of violations and he chooses to fight, Wright will lose and not survive as Speaker. Phil Jones, CBS News, Washington.
Peter Ueberroth today said that his much-headlined $464 million deal to buy Eastern Airlines is off. Various sources said the agreement collapsed over appointment of an outside trustee to serve until the sale was completed. Later, Trans World Airlines Chairman Carl Icahn expressed renewed interest in trying to buy Eastern. Some flying American adventurers got a big scare at twice the speed of sound today. A British Airways Concorde on a supersonic flight around the world suddenly lost part of its tail off the coast of Australia. It managed to land safely at Sydney. Aboard were 100 Americans who had paid $39,000 each for what was to be a record-breaking voyage. None was injured. Passengers said there was a large thump and the plane shuddered, but they didn't know what had happened until after they landed. Cause still not known.
Susan, can we talk?
Sure, Dad.
You notice anything different about Mom?
She's acting pretty wild for her age.
Well, I don't just mean the roller skates.
And the motor scooter. She even borrowed my new dress. Come on, Dad, what is it?
A balanced diet with the right vitamin nutrition helps people get more out of life. Some are finding Kellogg's Product 19. 100% of 12 vitamins and minerals. Feel good about yourself.
Not the, rubber dress.
Feel like 19 again.
Hot tea all day doesn't stop this denture wearer from hitting high C.
Hot tea? Fix-it-ent and forget it.
Give up hot chocolate just because I started wearing dentures? Scam!
Hot chocolate? Fix-it-ent and forget it. Heat-resistant Fix-it-ent spreads evenly to keep on fixing loose spots, no matter how often it gets hot.
I can drink hot coffee all day and still help a lady.
Heat-resistant. One more reason to use Fix-it-ent and forget it.
The truth is, heart specialists concerned about aspirin irritation recommend Ecotrin over Bayer to help prevent second heart attack. Consult your doctor about the only brand of aspirin that's safety coded to protect your stomach. That's Ecotrin, and that's the truth.
Where does it hurt?
Here.
For heartburn and gas, your medical answer is Extra Strength Malox Plus. Its doctor-recommended formula neutralizes more than any leading antacid. Ask your doctor about Extra Strength Malox Plus.
Police on both sides of the Texas-Mexican border are looking now for a Cuban man said to be the godfather of a drug-smuggling cult that kidnapped and slaughtered human beings. Among their alleged, quote, sacrifices was a University of Texas student whose mutilated body was found among 12 others yesterday. CBS News reporter Ron Allen is covering the story of the voodoo drug smugglers.
Mexican authorities paraded 4 of the 5 men who have been charged in this bizarre abduction and murder case, displaying the scars that identified them as members of a cult. Police say the suspects confessed to the crimes, talked about the voodoo rituals they performed, and described how they abducted and murdered 21-year-old Mark Kilroy, an American college student.
He got in the truck, and then we went to use the restroom, and when we got off, he started running, and then the other guys caught up to him.
Garcia said they took Kilroy to the ranch near Matamoros, Mexico, where police have discovered mutilated body parts and paraphernalia allegedly used for the ritual killings.
Well, I didn't do nothing, but the other ones, they killed him. I didn't kill him, but the one that killed him, they hit him with a machete in the head.
The type of satanic ritual group that we're talking about right now has overtones of religious cult that's been exported out of Cuba and Haiti and Jamaica, known as Santeria.
Late today, Kilroy's grief-stricken parents talked about their son's murder.
And now, really, we're at peace, knowing that Mark is safe and are with our Lord. And now it's just a matter of all of us. We're going to miss him a lot.
Investigators returned to the ranch today in search of more bodies. In addition to Kilroy, the victims identified so far reportedly include a Mexican policeman, and officials say there are more American citizens among the dead. Warrants have been obtained for at least 4 more people allegedly involved in the murders and drug running across the border. Police have also identified the ringleader of the group, a Cuban national named Adolfo de Jesus Costanza. He was referred to as Padrino or Godfather. The suspects have said he told them when and how to kill. Ron Allen, CBS News, Brownsville, Texas.
We're here at the new Disney MGM Studios theme park for the premiere of the 1990 Chevy Lumina. The Lumina sedan has the most passenger room in its class. And coming later this year, the Lumina Coupe and the new Lumina all-purpose vehicle with optional seating for 7, no matter what your size. Introducing the family Lumina from today's Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Chevy Lumina, official car of the Disney MGM Studios theme park.
See you real soon.
Are you okay, Dad?
Sure, doctor said it's heartburn.
Heartburn and high blood pressure. He wants him to cut out salt. Well, you better do it. He will. Don't worry.
If you're one of millions of heartburn sufferers and also have to cut out salt, cut it out of your antacid, too. Riopan Plus 2 is sodium-free, and it starts neutralizing stomach acid in 10 seconds.
Dessert?
Well, you're sure feeling better, Dad.
For heartburn and indigestion, Riopan Plus 2, sodium-free, and it works fast.
Putting the sun to work is my vision of the future. I believe solar-powered cars will be practical and necessary. Dow believes in my dream and has given me an open road to explore it. To discover and prove the car's worth, Dow backed me in races across Australia and over the Alps. As the dream comes closer, Dow is making the difference.
House and Senate banking panels worked today on President Bush's proposed multi-billion-dollar bailout at taxpayer expense for hundreds of savings and loans. S&Ls ruined in the 1980s after deregulation, bungling, and in some cases outright corruption from the inside. CBS News correspondent Eric Ingberg reports tonight on growing public pressure to make thrift owners give something back for all those taxpayer billions.
To the Bush administration, the issue is simple if expensive. Stabilize the tottering savings and loan industry with billions of federal dollars, and do it now before the costs shoot up even more.
The people, united, will never be defeated.
To consumer activists pressing Congress, there's more to it than that. If taxpayers are going to kick in $40 billion, they argue, then the whole structure of financing homes should be made to benefit the little guy, the idea behind savings and loans in the first place.
We can find as a federal government $100 to $300 billion for our nation's banks. That we ought to be able to find a few dollars for our nation's poor people to get affordable housing.
From Chicago, where demonstrators from Acorn, a low-income advocacy group, occupied abandoned federally owned housing, to Texas, where the S&L crisis is most severe, the activists argue any bailout bill should include housing aid for low-income families. Republicans say the issues must be kept apart.
To try to do a housing bill and a savings and loan bill at the same time, I think it's too much to ask of a banking committee to accomplish.
Housing reforms being pushed include requirements that banks and S&Ls finance housing for the poor at lower than market interest rates. The government has already repossessed $25 billion in assets from failing thrifts, like this house Acorn toured in Arkansas. The group says the poor and the homeless, not real estate speculators, should get first crack at this housing.
Nothing wrong with this house, except it needs a family to live in.
In Little Rock, Foster Strong, who owns a small business, says there have never been so many boarded-up houses in his neighborhood, while some people go without a place to live.
What is your main concern?
That somebody is going to get richer that don't need it, and somebody is going to get poorer, and more people are going to be out of houses.
The administration has largely succeeded up to now in keeping housing reforms off the bailout bill, in part because even Democrats want the S&L issue handled before voters start asking too many questions about how Congress let this mess happen in the first place.
But that could change if the housing issue takes off. A key committee chairman wants the bill open to housing reform.
We're talking about an industry that was founded by the Congress for the primary purpose of housing finance and providing affordable housing for the average American family.
And Housing Secretary Kemp has also argued that S&Ls must promise to do something for low-income housing before they're bailed out. As the Congress races to do something, the process of writing the bill has turned into what one House staffer calls chaos. Activists hope to take advantage of that and push for changes in a system they claim now locks the little guy out of the housing market. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
What do more drivers say after an oil change with Pennzoil at Jiffy Lube?
I can drive for miles and miles. I can drive for miles and miles. I can drive for miles and miles and miles and miles.
Every 3,000 miles, quality Pennzoil, lube, fluids, 10 minutes. Jiffy Lube, we give more cars more miles and miles.
Today's X-Lax is a good morning, guaranteed.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. X-Lax is the sure way back to natural regularity.
Good morning.
Medical experts agree. X-Lax actually restores the level of natural fluid in your system, so your body can work the way it should work, naturally.
Good morning. Good morning.
People just can't remember feeling this good. Today's X-Lax, the sure way back to natural regularity, guaranteed.
Feel your oats
with Post Oat Flakes.
Feel your oats with Post Oat Flakes. Golden toasted flakes with whole grain oat nutrition and a crunchy oat taste. Feel your oats with Post Oat Flakes.
This dry, dull paneling is a good place to do some serious writing about Old English. It moisturizes, helps prevent drying and cracking, and brings hidden beauty to the surface. Old English, oil or aerosol, a more caring approach to wood care.
Sugar Ray Robinson died today. His admirers considered him the champion of all champions. Correspondent Harold Dow looks at the career of an American original and a master of the ring.
He was considered by many to be the greatest fighter ever, pound for pound. A 5-time middleweight champion during the 1950s. 200 fights, only 19 defeats. The public knew him as Sugar Ray Robinson, but he was born Walker Smith in Detroit in 1921. When he began his boxing career, he was too young to get a license.
A friend of mine, whose name was Ray Robinson, I borrowed his birth certificate. And I meant to give him back his name, but he said I had to steal it.
He borrowed the name Ray Robinson, but the title Sugar is something he earned in the ring. Robinson was fast. He was crafty. He had style. His moves were so sweet, people said he had to be Sugar. Outside the ring, he led a sweet life, too. His trademark, a pink Cadillac. One of Robinson's greatest rivalries was with Jake LaMotta, the man known as the Raging Bull. The two men fought 6 times. Robinson won 5.
He's a masterful boxer, terrific puncher, and he was just a great competitor.
In his later years, Robinson reportedly suffered from Alzheimer's disease and diabetes. This morning, Robinson was rushed to a hospital in Culver City, California, where he died 15 minutes later. He was 67. Sugar Ray Robinson was the model for generations of fighters: Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Ray Leonard. But Robinson was an original, the original. Harold Dow, CBS News, New York.
And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. Dan Rather. See you tomorrow. Good night.
This is CBS.